Right here with Swaggerized Performance Lab, the art and nuance of sport. Right from the start, sports represents the number one opportunity for young Black males and women right now in America. Sports, with all its flaws, still produces a fairer, better, more measured shot than the industry, than any other industry out there in a meritocracy based system. So, what I'm saying is that in sports, meritocracy still exists, meaning you're measured on what you do. In every other system, there's still so much ambiguity that it muddies the water. Now, when you add in the opportunity of your major sports like football, basketball, track and field, now you're talking about leveraging this sports in a way that no other industry, no other degree can prepare you for. I say this speaking from a person with a high level degree, information technology, computer science degree, spending more than 20 years in big tech, working as a senior physical design engineer and also a AI solution architect, what everyone is experiencing right now. I was on the forefront of that. I say that with that experience. This is not a knock in tech. This is the reality. When you look at tech, it is similar. Tech for a black male, a black female is like having a professional athletics job, but without the clear meritocracy, meaning you can be hired for your skill or not. And everyone will say, yes, that ambiguity exists, politics exists. What I'm saying, with all things being equal, with the politics being equal, with the oppositions being equal, sports provides a number one opportunity for athletics. One, to maximize your athletic gifts, which allows you to get an athletic scholarship, to advance your intellectual ability, to nurture that in whatever field you choose. Most importantly, choosing a field that, one, that aligns with who you are as a person, but also aligns with in a way that can prepare you to be a valuable entity in this world that we have, in this global world, not just in the USA or America, United States of America, but worldwide, a skill set that prepares you to be valuable worldwide. Sports allows you, one, to nurture your gifts, two, to gain this intellectual knowledge and information and skill that makes you valuable in the world. Number three, you build relationships and networking with other like-minded people in the sports arena and also in the educational, intellectual arena, your field of choice. So with this sports vehicle, you are able to tap in to multiple areas to level yourself up in a way that hasn't been seen before. Now, when you add in NIL, where for many institutions, Power Four, you don't even have walk on anymore, meaning everyone is being paid. Football and basketball, everyone's being paid. So when you look at that, you say immediately as an athlete, when you transition from high school to college, you now enter the workforce. So you're working for yourself exponentially. You're working on the athletic side, which you're being paid, and you're working on this academic side, preparing you for life beyond sports. And knowing what I know in all of this, in this area where for the black athlete, yes, now it's very, we talked about the silent contracts, where silent contract is that you don't acknowledge race, you don't acknowledge these things that affects your community. You don't talk about racism, right? You understand that in these systems, and people say, well, what are you saying there? Exactly what I said. In these systems, it is a transaction in which that you're being paid, you're being rewarded for what you do on the field and what you do in the classroom. And you have to understand that in these different environments, you have to have this situational awareness. And this silent contract isn't a contract that you actually sign, but it's a contract that the systems are aware of. Let me give you an example. If you go back to when LeBron James made comments back in 2018, he was commenting about the elections, and then Laura Ingraham said, stick to baseball, shut up and dribble, right? And immediately thereafter, that was in February of 2018. Immediately after that, LeBron, Maverick Carter, they created their own show, right? To actually be able to voice and talk about different topics, important topics, race, politics, economics, these issues that affected LeBron, but in these certain systems, he couldn't discuss or the knowledge. It's simply for him to play basketball. And so as an athlete, you're understanding this, but additionally, what college allows you to do under the scholarship, under NIL, under nurturing your intellectual gifts, it allows you to build your individual identity vis-a-vis a platform such as Swaggerize that allows you to vocalize and communicate your vision and what you align with. See, when I talk about race, it's not to point the finger. Race is let's even look at it from a mental health standpoint, is to help you navigate this system and have mental health. Oftentimes people are dealing with racial issues because when people say race doesn't exist, racism doesn't exist, but yet you look at the situation and you're the only one dealing with this, you're the only one being targeted, it's completely different. And then the people around you that don't have your background, that are not similar to you, are telling you, oh, it's not race. Now you have to go reevaluate. You even have to throw away what something inside you is telling you exists. It's not even that you go fight it. It's that you understand, okay, this could be potentially what I'm dealing with. Now let me navigate this appropriately. Let me develop a proper rule of engagement with this system, with this individual, with this group of people. So, and by developing a proper strategy, you can move in peace, you can move in power, you can move with intention, and you can focus your energy on the positive things that you need to focus it on. So in understanding that sports is the number one opportunity, I'm even saying before you just choose academics, you're an athlete. And it's not that you're a football player. It's not that you are a basketball player. It's not that you're a track athlete. It's that, hey, that could be ping pong. But you're able to leverage moving your body. Let me say that again. You're able to leverage moving your body. Say, I see you, Swagger Eyes. Say, I see you, Swagger Eyes. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're able to leverage moving your body. That's what being an athlete is. That's what this opportunity for specifically the Black athlete who I'm talking about. And why am I saying that? Because I'm targeting people like myself, people that I've known that were talented, that were gifted, that maximized opportunity, that leveraged opportunities, but faced opposition, that were consistently told what they were experiencing, what they were dealing with was something else, but yet, or that oftentimes you could see unnecessary obstacles being thrown in front of you, and it would be looked at as happenstance. You overcome that, you jump over that, you move around that, you fly above that, right? But at the same time, you're still having conversations with the enemy. You're still giving this person more benefit of the doubt than they should to. You're still giving this system more benefit of the doubt than it should be. Again, we're not talking about anger. We're not talking about violence. We're talking about moving with a specific strategy and intention to navigate the system so that you can ultimately win, so that you have the scholarship, you have the NIL money. And not only that, you're able to leverage that. You're able to leverage that in a way that in 10 years and 15 years, you don't have to work again. You're moving on your own terms. You're able to move how you want to move. You're not pressured to move and to react. You're not moving to react and respond out of anxiety, out of anger, out of a last resort. So let me give you more. Be very clear. With all of sports, even its real flaws, it still produces a fair, more measured shot than the industry and everyone assumes in these other ambiguous, in business, in tech. You look at the law and you see the law work for some and the law not work for others. You see two different situations. You look at the Nolan Wells case and you say, nobody knows anything. Just for the case that people are intelligent, white folks are intelligent. They see everything. They know political. They know the law. They know observations. They see aliens. They see health gimmicks. They know how to grow food. They know how to take care of their home. They know in what environments they're building homes. They know what car to buy, what car not to buy. They're making decisions on who to hire based on different innate qualities of individuals. They're very observant. But yet in this situation with Nolan Wells, nobody knows nothing. And it's highly likely that people were watching him the whole day. Because when you are this comes back to what I'm talking about, a Black athlete, you are visible, right? And when you're an intelligent Black athlete, and then when you are often like Nolan Wells, like all of us, when you are having that innocence, when you have that light, you have that joy, right? And you're giving people you're giving people grace, and you're walking by faith, but you have an immense amount of grace that you feel like in your good nature you can't be touched. But in this situation, people that were saying they were his best friends, they can't find him. And you say, well, how does this relate to sport? This is about navigating this life and understanding the environment you're in, understanding the environments that you exist in, which they'll try to tell you doesn't exist. From everything that you know about Nolan Wells, you would say that this shouldn't happen to him, but it did. People worshiped Martin Luther King for years. His vision was on peace, but he was still removed. So what am I saying? I'm saying sports represents the number one opportunity for Black women and Black men in general, but you have to understand the environments that you're going into. It's not saying you can't go into an environment, but you have to understand the environment. You have to be discerning. You have to understand some of the silent agreements that you're into. And with that being said, with everything that you could say is wrong with sports, the numbers for success are still better than what you would see in many industries like technology, which is one I come from, which is one I'm not speaking against. I'm just telling you the opportunity and why I built Swaggerize, to give you a platform so that you don't have to think about things, so you know what to think, what you should be discerning about, understanding financial education, financial literacy, the NIL, understanding how to video what you do and have a clear picture. Okay, this is the time I ran. I can prove it. Here's a video right here. Here's a timer right here. This is how fast I got from A to Z. This is how high I jumped. Having actual measurables so that you are very clear about where you sit in this game of athletics and life. I'm Mr. Smith with Swaggerize, Performance Lab, the art and nuance of sport. Tune in, like, subscribe. We talk about the things that haven't been talked about, that typically are not talked about, not in a way to point fingers, not in a way to incite anger, but in a way to help you navigate this system so that you can win and ultimately get what you deserve out of this industry of sport. As you being a chosen athlete, committing yourself to it, your parents committing yourself to it, your family, people committing themselves to it, there's a reciprocity that should come back to you. And I believe in helping you get that. I'm Mr. Smith. Please like and subscribe it if you like what you hear, and check out the app. You can scan it or go on the iOS App Store and scan Swaggerize and Performance Lab. The Olympic staff in the palm of your hand. I'll see you next time.